Yeah, Mark's big on that. He goes, well, you have to. Mark came in. You have to go because Scott Muni's going to be there, and the morning zoo guy in Philly's going to be there. I said, so what? Who cares?
Do we get to interview them?
Yeah. I said, those two idiots couldn't do a good interview anyway. Well, that's why you have to go. I said, yeah, well, I don't know. Oh, yeah. And then the funny thing was is that I said, listen. I said, so I'll get over there and everyone won't do my show. So Mark says, well, I'll go with you to make sure they do your show. I go, you? Get out of my office, you big dummy. You worm.
He's the kind of person that famous people just flock to.
Yeah, right. What famous person is going to listen to you, Mark? I think Mark's looking to go to England. That's what this is all about. Oh, yeah,
he wants a trip.
Yeah. Because England isn't all it's cranked up to be. I'm going to tell you that right now. You got the worst food in that England.
Worst weather.
The worst weather. In the summer, I'm going to be in England.
Yeah, where it's wet and cold.
Who needs that? Ugh.
And they all talk in that awful, annoying accent.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my luck. You'll pick up that accent over there.
You know what happens to me by the end of the week. I can't get out of it.
I'm ready to hang myself from your...
Hello.
You're like a chameleon. Well, anyway, this is. Let me continue the discussion quickly when we get back about the general managers, because I was leading up to something.
That PLJ, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Tom wasn't really all that keen on the fact that I was saying that I didn't want to go to England, and he didn't really want to hear whether or not there were good guests.
Oh, he didn't. He just wants you to go.
He just wants me going for some reason.
You're going. He's giving you an order.
He wants me there. But I just said, I don't mind going. Listen, I'm not taking this as a punishment. I just said, let's find out what we're going to be doing there first. Oh, he went nuts. He doesn't like that kind of planning.
You're just supposed to say yes.
Yeah. I said, well, Tom, you mean I'll be over there for the week looking at four walls? I said, well, you have listeners there. I said, well, I'm going to talk to listeners for a week? What is this, Art Linkletter's house party? I'd rather sit here and answer the phone. Oh, I don't know.
Send the listeners to England. They can sit in the room. We'll talk to them.
Well, I kind of suggested that. I said, why don't we just send John over there, let him interview everyone, and he'll mail back the interviews. He'll do a better interview than I could. Well, I don't stutter.
That Tom Grooms and John.
Right. Tom Grooms and John will go over. Tom Grooms from Washington and John from our show.
And he'll ask everybody if Effie Barry is a lesbian.
Right. And do you like Jews?
We'll have a great time.
7:43 at 92.3 KROC WYSP WJFK. We'll be back right after these words.
Hey, how you doing? This is Joe Walsh, and I'm here live on 92.3 KROC on Friday nights from 8 p.m. till midnight with my buddy Rick, the bass player. How you doing, Rick? And lots of special guests. Use your imagination. We'll do some live jams. Please listen in this Friday beginning at 8 p.m. for me, Joe Walsh, on 92.3 KROC, New York's only classic rock and roll radio station. How you doing?
When a moose calls, it sounds like this.
March is the month to ski Pico.
All right, the 15th annual Long Island Custom Car Show blasts its way into the Nassau Coliseum Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, March 9th, 10th, and 11th. Don't miss the hundreds of cars. Hey, John, bring me in some order, will you? Don't miss the hundreds of cars, rods, bikes, trucks, race cars, classics, antiques, and features. I'm not reading this thing like a... I'm not going to read this like a maniac.
Well, I'll tell you, it took me a minute or two to figure out what you were talking about because you're reading this.
So normal?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, man.
I was going to say, what is blasting?
Thank you, John.
It's the 15th annual Long Island
Custom Car Show
blasting its way
into the Nassau Coliseum.
That's right, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
March 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Don't miss the hundreds of cars, rods. You like rods, Robin, yes.
You do like rods. I know that.
Of course, I love rods.
What's the biggest rod you ever rode? Okay, never mind. From California comes Ed
Big Daddy Roth,
Brat Fink Outlaw and
Beatnik Bandit fame.
From Colorado comes the Dragoman's
General Engineer.
250-mile-per-hour bike from New Hampshire comes Sassy Massey, the 6-engine.
9,000.
I'm running out of steam.
Hey, I'm running out of steam, Robin. Yes, you'll thrill, you'll spill. What a wild time. Motors, engines, broads, screeches, craziness. Haul your ass to this show. Do it now. On Friday night, meet Boy Gary, and on Sunday, meet Penthouse Pet Kimberly Taylor.
This is one of those shows where you'll meet those virile young women.
Yeah.
That they were trying to sell those new cigarettes to, the Dakota.
Yeah?
They go to car shows with their boyfriends.
Nice girls. Beat up their boyfriends and take their women. Penthouse Pet Kimberly Taylor. Talk to her about law school. She's going.
See how far she's gotten so far.
Gary has a friend who goes to law school with Kimberly Taylor every day, and she says she pulls up in a limo every day. Trying to fit in with the other kids on campus at law school. Oh. Don't miss the exciting 15th Annual Long Island Custom Car Show, America's mightiest custom show at the Nassau Coliseum, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, March 9th, 10th, and 11th. Don't miss the hundreds of cars, rods, trucks, bikes, race cars, antiques, and features. Yeah.
Sometimes at these shows they have like
don't bring my energy level down, dude.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, what do they have?
No, they have like oddity cars. Like one time I went to a car show and they had the limo that Hitler was in.
Really?
With the bullet hole in it.
Did it drive through mud?
No, it didn't drive through mud. And then one time I went and they had Mr. Leonard's Volkswagen.
Mr. Leonard's Volkswagen. All right. Don't miss 100. I met Mr. Leonard. He's a big fat white guy. I don't think he can fit in a Volkswagen. Sassy Massey, the 250-mile-per-hour Dragon Man's dual engine bike. Bruce Larson's championship, funny car. Boy Gary, Dragon Tooth, driving Dragon Tooth, his own car. And Penthouse Pet Kimberly Taylor. See her in our limo school, our law school limo.
Law school, yeah.
Extra special, no Fred Norris. That's right, that's no Fred Norris. That's the 15th Annual Long Island Custom Car Show at the Nassau Coliseum, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, March 9th, 10th, and 11th. Be there. Be there. All right. Jackie's going to be at Club Benet this Saturday in Sayreville, New Jersey, Robin.
Oh, well, you can't read that with... Hey,
Jackie! 516-922-WINE. I think he's there with Dolly Parton. Saturday, March 17th at Governor's Comedy Shop in Stamford, Connecticut. Opening for Jackie Aerosmith.
Oh.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Speaking of Aerosmith, I've got those live jams on tape when we want to hear them. Good. Gary just brought them in. Let me just finish this thought. So they hire this new general manager at PLJ. He's going to come in and save the radio station, right? So they ask him immediately. The guy from Newsday, the guy who loves us so much, calls up the general manager. But this is pretty funny. Calls up the new general manager and says, well, what about the future of the morning show? Okay. So this guy, Paul Colford from Newsday, calls up, asks the new general manager.
But we figure Gary Bryan's career's on the skids.
Yeah.
What about it?
Asks about the future of the morning show. He referred the question to Bryan. Now listen to that. They call the new general manager and say, are you going to keep this program director? And the new general manager, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard, said, I don't know if I'm keeping the new program director. Why don't you ask the program director? Now listen to this brain surgeon they hired. Paul Colford says, which was surprising because the heavy betting is that Bryan, hired by Horner, will also be fired shortly. Not so, Bryan insisted yesterday. Now, Bryan is the program director.
What do you think he would say?
So they asked the program director if he's going to be fired. The program director has nothing to do with what he's going to fire himself. But being a reporter, he called up and he said, okay, I'll speak to Bryan. Bryan, are you going to be fired?
But isn't that strange that the reporter didn't point that out to the general manager? Wait a minute, dude.
Yeah. Well, he did say it was surprising.
But he didn't ask why are you referring to me to the guy? Yeah. That's like asking you, is K-Rock going to fire you, Howard?
Well, let me talk to you, Robin, about that. I've decided that K-Rock will fire me. What kind of thing is that? This is some general manager they hired from Providence, Rhode Island. This guy's brilliant.
Immediately, he throws it into...
If I was ABC Cap Cities, I'd read this article, I'd start to shake like this. Like this, I'd shake, and then I'd fire the guy. I wouldn't even let him in the station. What is it? They asked you if you're going to fire your program director, and he said, oh, why don't you ask the program director? This is like these are all mental cases in this industry.
This is the way he handled his first New York interview.
Really good. You can see he's real paranoid. Anyway, not so Brian insisted yesterday. In fact, he added he's signing a new multi-year contract this week. Let me see the ink on that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Those Shadow Stevens commercials are so annoying. They're running them every 15 minutes. And I don't know what brain surgeon figured out that this is going to make people listen. This is the biggest turnoff I've ever seen in my life. Did you see the leather jacket with the cowboy stuff hanging off the fringe?
Right, yeah. And then when he holds up that dollar bill, it is so embarrassing.
Yeah, and then he circles the...
Right.
And then what does he do at the end of the commercial? That's when I really get the douche chills.
I think I must tune out before then.
He does something at the end of the commercial. He says, so make sure you tune in tomorrow for your big bucks.
He does some kind of posing or something.
He goes something like, where's that? Give me that card, will you, Fred? That's what I think he does at the end. That's a real... I mean, I can't imagine that makes people tune in. And they're running them like mad dogs. I mean, if they don't get any ratings...
And he really has nothing to do with the station except that he has a Saturday morning, Sunday morning show.
Well, he has such a positive image with the people. So handsome. That bad hair weave. We saw him outside the Grammys with his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the hair weave.
And the hair weave. Was that the hair weave?
Yeah.
Were we seeing it?
We were seeing it because I looked out. Believe me, the first thing I checked was his hairline.
I was sort of embarrassed, you know, because we keep pointing out the fact that he has a bad toupee and stuff, and we know the guy, and he's a real nice guy in person. You know, you feel kind of bad saying this stuff, but you can't be dishonest.
It's up to us to point this stuff out.
Yeah. So make sure you tune into PLJ in the morning. It's like. He does some weird noise at the end. I don't know what it is. Probably the listeners would know. Oh, that's Washington. They wouldn't know. They don't even know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about? Thank you. Guess not.
Nobody knows.
First time I've ever asked a question and nobody called. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's that noise at the end of the commercial. It goes. It's sort of like that weeping noise you got on your show there.
I think this is Marty Allen calling it. That's show dare.
Show dare.
That's show dare.
So I got a little oatmeal.
He just repeated everything I just said. Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What is that? What does he do at the end?
At the end of the show, he goes, tune in, ha-ha, ho-ho.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it,
He goes, tune in, ha-ha, ho-ho.
Yeah, like totally out of character.
Yeah. Just, if he's trying to be cool and everything, why don't he just be cool?
Yeah, I'd see that working for like an NEW or something, a ha-ha-ho-ho, but not a PLJ.
No, I like when that guy Fitz puts a pin in Al Rosenberg and he blows away. Al Rosenberg's a real nice guy, but one of the worst fates in the world is having to work with Bob Fitzsimmons. Like, every time I see that commercial come on, I'm like, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha.
Wee! Welcome to Zanies.
Yeah. Al Rosenberg's mission to make Bob Fitzsimmons sound normal. It's a fate worse than death. Yeah.
I just want to say that I got your tape, finally, from The Wiz.
Yeah?
You guys put on a great show.
Thanks, man. U.S. Open Source, huh?
Tell me something. How was the wrestling? When you wrestled with the women, because that was just
that got me excited. I got to admit.
It was exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wish you showed a little bit more of that.
Yeah, I do too. Maybe some other time.
Sequel.
Yeah, I'd like to just do a whole wrestling show. But I'll tell you something. When I was in the in that.
What was that? A ring?
That ring.
Yeah.
And they greased me down.
Yeah.
They just threw some oil on me. At first I was like, oh, this is stupid. I'm probably going to get hurt. Because I was sliding all over the place. Because they have like plastic on it, so you slide.
Right.
All of a sudden I fell down on top of this girl. Once I saw that I could kick her ass,
right.
I didn't get nervous anymore, so I was on top of her trying to pin her. That's the whole idea, I guess. I didn't know what to do, really. I hadn't rehearsed it or anything. I went in.
That wasn't a wrestling hold I saw you do.
So I'm full of oil, and all of a sudden I'm wrestling with this girl, and her top's falling off and everything, and I'm going, this is really cool. And at first I said to her, please don't hurt me, don't hurt me. Then I realized, wait a second, I'm the world's biggest pussy. I'm afraid. What could she possibly know? But I figured she was like one of those women who knew how to like flip you and do karate and stuff.
You thought it was the what is that federation called? You thought she was from there, huh?
Yeah, right. I was nervous, okay? So then once I saw that I could take her, I threw her down on her back, jumped on top of her, and pinned her.
He became Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. I pinned her, gave her the death lock. And all of a sudden, I'm sliding around on her breasts and stuff, and it was pretty cool. I got to admit, it felt pretty good, and I was pretty aroused.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool, but I just wish you would have, put some more of it in there. And plus, the credits were rolling, and you try to look at the girls, and the credits get in the way of the girls.
Well, you could rewind and just look at the girls.
I did that.
Every once in a while, though, he's saying a letter was in a place.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to see.
But
a letter was in the wrong area.
Howard, it was a great show. And I could not believe. I called everybody I knew and told them about Celestine.
All right, dude. Thanks, man.
All right,
I'm glad you like the tape. I've got an idea for a really cool new videotape. I'm going to discuss it with the station today, see if I can get that off the ground.
Okay, you guys do.
Actually, I could probably tell you the idea. What do you think?
I don't know what the idea is. Maybe you want to discuss it with me off the air.
Nah. What fun is that?
And then I could tell you whether you should discuss it on the air.
I guess I could tell you. Well, all right, I'll wait. I'll debut it on a special show.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe you should wait till everything's in place.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's pretty much the way I like to operate. I like to make sure all things are secure. All right, dude, thanks.
Okay, Howard.
I know it's a tape the listeners would really dig, because I know it's a tape I would dig. And it actually involves very little on our part. It's more the listeners' part.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it could be really cool. Could be a really cool
already.
idea. 758, 92.3 K-Rock, WYSP, WJFK. We got to take a short break. Then we'll do the news for you. Also, Liz Taylor's calling in. We got to get to that. I'll play those Aerosmith live jams for you. I got to read you the Ed Levine article, too. Have I told you about that?
That's right, yeah.
What is this, 1-800-COCAINE? Yeah, call that number if you're in pain, man. Man.
In pain?
Yeah,
what
man.
What number are we calling?
1-800-COCAINE. You know what it can be like. We've all been there, man.
Well, we keep hearing these stories. There was the James Brown PCP, right? That was his drug.
Yep.
Then there was the guy from Crosby, David Crosby.
Yeah.
Cocaine.
Right.
Ike Turner, on his way to jail. Cocaine.
Saddest part of all this is they lost all their money. Look at poor Papa John Phillips. He was on Channel 21 the other night.
I want to see that. I forgot to take
Yeah, I'll give you my copy.
And I understand they're pretty open.
About their drug use.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he's the first one to admit that it did him in, and he's real happy being straight now. So, but everything fell apart on him. He lost his whole career. You know what I mean? He had to fight his way back. A horrible story. Before it's too late, why don't you call 1-800-COCAINE? Now, what is 1-800-COCAINE? It's a referral service. You call up there in confidence. They will recommend a place that you can go in your area where you can get help. You know? I'm telling you, man, when my arm itches for a needle, I just call 1-800-COCAINE.
Does that happen often?
Sure, I got a monkey on my back. And I don't mean Michelle Marsh. I'm telling you, when my brain groans for some crack, I call 1-800-COCAINE. All of a sudden, I want to take a few ludes to get to sleep, Robin. I calm down enough just to dial 1-800-COCAINE. I'm being serious now.
So you call this number about how many times a day?
17, 18 times a day. I know 3 of the girls personally on that line. I've taken them out. By the way, there's a couple of foxes answering those phones, guys. No, in all seriousness, we kid around a lot, but this number really can help you. 1-800-COCAINE. Before you lose your job, before you lose your family, before you lose your life, dial 1-800-COCAINE.
Time. There's never enough of it. Time. You always need more of it. Time. You try to save it, measure it, race against it, but you...